So I know that we had spoken the other day about taking a look at the CRM, and I know that you'd had some interest in looking at the inventory management and tracking. And I know that you'd also mentioned you wanted to do a pre-sales campaign. Is that right?
Those are all correct, and then a web page eventually, or in conjunction with.
Absolutely. So that's why I put us on this demo site. So this is our demo site that we do show to just about everybody. It also allows for us to play around with it and actually get an idea of the full functionality. So it does start with the website itself, as you were alluding to earlier. So this just happens to be a flower shop, but the idea here is just that it's a site that showcases a company that sells products. So as you can see, it's just sort of standard issue with being able to pick products and actually have them shipped out. I did want to get you to take a look at the back end, particularly into the CRM. Does that work for you?
That works fine.
So I'm going to log in here. You'll see here the username and password are demo and demo. If this is something that you'd like to return to later on after we finish speaking, you could always just go ahead and log into the demo yourself.
And would I do that through a Join Me, or would I go directly to a web page?
You would just go to demo.allprowebtools.com. So great. So this would be what you would log into. This is the interface that you would see when you're logging into the website itself. So as you can see along the left side are all the various tools. But I'll tell you what, I know this is something that we weren't talking about initially, but this is actually my favorite part of AllProWebTools, is really just this timeline feature. So this timeline, now obviously this is not something that's been updated today. As you can see, some of the tasks in here have been from 2 months ago. But what it allows for is giving you a live feed of what is actually happening within the business. So all of your orders, any notes that somebody's taking, all of the activity within the business is presented to you right when you log in. So, for example, if you're out meeting with a distributor or a client, or if you're at a trade show, you can always log in and see what's happening behind the scenes. So maybe you've taken a couple of orders through your website. While you were there, you can actually just see what else has been happening. If there are any other employees, you can view their activity just to give you a real a snapshot of what's been happening. And it is, as I said, it's live, so you'll see if something had happened 15 minutes ago, or if it's happening on the spot. You will see it pop into the timeline. Particularly if there's an order, you can see what it's for, what it's about. And you can log in here from your smartphone. So it does make it really easy just to get an idea of what's happening, and it also stops a lot of the need for making a lot of phone calls where you have to say, did this happen in the business? Did this happen? Was this taken care of? So in any case, like I said, I mean, I just really end up using this the most. So just wanted to show you that. So any tasks that are that you've sent back and forth to other employees within the business, you'll also see those tasks are highlighted in the timeline as well. Does this make sense?
Yes, and you said the smartphone, so it's iPhone and it's iPad. Functional?
Absolutely. Nice.
Nice.
Yes, and I know that a lot of people do do like to handle transactions as well from their iPhone or their iPad, or and this all works together as well. So you can actually swipe a card on the spot and it'll appear in the timeline. So when you take an order, like I said, if you were meeting directly with a distributor or a reseller, you can actually swipe their card on the spot using either your iPhone or your iPad, and all of that information, as far as the order information, will appear right here in the timeline as well. So really,
and is
really,
there an order form?
Yes.
Associated with this? Okay.
Yes, and so the idea would be, again, as this ties together with the inventory management as well, you will see, in addition to the quantities listed in this order right here, that the inventory itself will be managed, so you know that. So if you've run out of a particular item, you know that you can't sell it unless it's on a pre-sales sort of a basis. But at least it makes you aware, and there are alerts that can be set up when there's time to reorder certain parts or pieces or entire units. However it is that you'd like that set up, that can be accomplished through the inventory management piece. But the idea, though, is that everything is now talking together. So you'll see that even though you've got you know that you've got a certain amount in storage, if there's a web sale that comes in, you know that is accounted for through these tools here. And
this can be multi-user.
Absolutely, and that is one of the differences. So it's not. You can actually have as many users as you'd like. So it's not a user-based model that we're working with. So like I said, I tend to use this the most, both the timeline as well as the tasking system. Really, I do use those the most. But I did want to just mention what this is that you're going to see when you first log into to AllProWebTools, to the back end of your site. This is what you would be looking at first. And it's also the home button here that I have highlighted with the mouse. Now I know that we'd also mentioned the CRM, and I wanted to at least have you take a look at this. So right here where I've just clicked is on this. On the user's name here, and this would be a picture, so it would be either your picture or one of your employees' pictures, whomever the user would be. That's what we would be looking at. In this case, since we've logged in as under the demo site, this is the user's name is demo. So let's just take a look at the sales. So this is your pipeline. Okay, so these are all the accounts that you're working on. They could be prospects. They could be further along in the process. But as you'll see, we have a lot of these Disney characters listed here. But let me just click into and open that. So this is what the information looks like when you click into a contact. And obviously, you can go ahead and add some website information. But the idea, though, is that just like any other CRM, it would contain all of the contacts' information, their name, their company information, the address, phone number, email, which is relatively standard issue. Now, you can also assign different account managers. So what that means is perhaps you've made the initial contact, but if you'd like to assign this to someone else to actually manage that account, you can go ahead and do that. So now we've changed the account manager, and then you can also assign a callback time. And again, you would just, I believe this is something that a lot of the CRMs can do right now. I'm just showing you how it's done over here. So you at this time, so let's say at 9:18 p.m. What would happen is you get an alert up at the top that you should call Pocahontas at that time. So that's really the idea. So these alerts are similar to a lot of the social media. Have you got a LinkedIn account?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so I'm sure you're quite familiar with how they present those bubbles at the top, or or I think sometimes they call it splat at the top. So it just turns red. In this case, these are green and orange. So right here, these are the notifications telling me that I have 16 new orders. And here it's telling me that I have 3 tasks that have been assigned to me. Okay, but either way, you're going to get an alert, and it'll be under the alerts button here, under the notifications. You'll get an alert at 9:18 p.m. To call Pocahontas. So I guess that's a relatively standard issue, but the idea though is that you can also continue to take notes on this account.
Okay.
And you can follow the progression. So, for example, when you're talking with someone, and perhaps you need to follow up with them, you could just say, just type your notes that would state what happened in that conversation and what the plans are going forward, and at least everybody else can see that. And those notes would also appear in the timeline, so now everybody knows what's happening, so you're all on the same page.
So 2 questions.
Sure.
The address, the contact information.
Mm-hmm.
One, does it automatically sync with Gmail? Or can it do that?
I don't believe it syncs directly with Gmail. Usually there's sort of an import-export initially set up.
So there could be an export out of here as a Gmail contact,
absolutely.
So it could be imported?
Absolutely.
And then the second one, the account insight, callback times, notifications, can those go to iPhone?
The notifications themselves?
Yes, so that I would receive it. It would just go right into my iPhone calendar. Or it's one of my Gmail calendars that I would be using.
Right. And actually, it is something that is coming actually very soon. It's not currently in this build, but we do have new builds that are updated every 30 to 45 days. But since we've had so many requests for that particular feature, that is coming very soon. So yeah, we have had that as a priority, listed in the priority, to have the Gmail calendar integration, which would include all of the alerts as well.
Okay, but at this time I would just simply you have an app for iPhones. So I would just go in the app, and then I would get all my notifications through the app then.
So with that, we typically use the web interface, meaning at least for me, I usually just log in through the browser, like through Safari. And the idea is, for me, it just tends to make a little bit more sense because that's the way I do it from the iPad, from the laptop, and from the phone. So I do that. I know that the app, I believe, is geared more toward the actual purchasing. So the idea would be, as you're meeting with people, you can swipe the card and enter all of the order information right there. But like I said, we try to keep it consistent throughout each device. So we do have it set up so that you would log in through the web.
Okay.
Through the browser. Okay. So I know that we did discuss a few things here. I know what I'm looking to see is what would you like to see next?
So back end, then entering inventory as you receive it in after production, and it's all you want to put inventory in, and then
Right.
how the customers know if that inventory is available or whether it's back ordered or not in stock.
Oh, that's a really great feature that we have. You can set up the system so that it will notify them, or it'll just disappear from your website so it's not available to be purchased. And then as soon as more inventory arrives, the system will automatically turn that item back on and allow it to be purchased.
Nice. And where do you do that at?
So the first thing would be the inventory. So if we go there first, this is where you can set the thresholds for the different products so that it'll send you an alert when you start running low, and you can determine what low means to you. So go back to store, and then inventory, and then the shipments spot. And then here's where you can create shipments. So if you have regular shipments, you always get 50 every month. You'd be able to put this in there, and then it would create a pending shipment. And then once that shipment arrives, you would have the opportunity to update the quantity. So maybe 2 of them got broken in shipping. So you would enter the correct quantity that you're putting into stock, and then that would automatically get put back into your product database. You also have the shelf life. So if you have products that go bad after a period of time, you can enter that as well. And then the other question that I'd like to address, Craig, is if you go to Store and then View Products, and we'll just click on the first one there, Red Roses. So the question was, what happens when you run out of inventory? So if you click on the Inventory button at the top there, update threshold and status, kind of down a little bit. Yeah, click on that. So here you can specify how you want the system to act when this particular product runs out. So where it says status, you can have it still display it on, go ahead and pull that drop down.
Sure.
You can have it say that it's the items on back order, it's out of stock, or you can hide the product from the website so no one even sees it. Or you can leave it on the system and track how many people are still trying to purchase it, and then it'll say, sorry, we're out of stock on this item, so you know how popular that discontinued item is.
Okay, so I'm looking at that, and I see threshold of 10, and then shelf life 0. So when it reaches 10, what do I receive as a prompt on my end?
You'll get an email notification as well as an alert in the system next time you log in that'll let you know that you're running low on that product and you should order some more.
Okay. But then the out of stock hide product, is that just when you get to 0, or when you're at 10, doesn't it then?
No, that's when you get to 0 for everything.
When you get to 0. Okay.
I will send you a link to this demo site, just so that should you want to just mess around with it yourself, you'll be able to log into it straight away. And just so you're aware, if you do start adding some contacts just to, even if they're fictitious, or start playing around with the different thresholds, just so you're aware, the demo does reset itself every hour on the hour. So if you do make any changes to it, they will go away at the next hour. All right.
It'll revert back to where you have your settings.
Yes.
Okay.
And I know that you had also mentioned the email campaigns of the pre-sales campaign. Is that correct?
Yes. How do you integrate shipping? If you say, okay, it's $50 for the item plus shipping and handling.
Great question. So go ahead and close this, Craig, and then if we go to Store and then Shipping Manager. From here, we have all the different shipping carriers available. So let's click on U.S. Postal Service Priority, the second one down. So from here, we can obviously set this shipping method to be active or not. And we have 3 choices to calculate the shipping by, and one of them is the actual shipping rate. So the system will take the weight of the item and call out to the U.S. Postal Service and find out what they want to charge you for that. And you can have it actually pull that amount. Now down below where there's a $sign and a 0, you could add a certain dollar amount to the actual shipping rate for your handling charges. So you could charge shipping plus actual shipping price plus $2 if you wanted to in that scenario. Now you also have the ability to do a tiered rate. Tiered rate would be if you wanted to have predefined groupings where if they purchase 1 to 5 items, it's this amount. If it's 6 to 10 items, it's that amount. Or if the weight is between 1 and 5 pounds, it's going to be this amount. Or 6 to 10 pounds, it's going to be that amount. So you have full control in that respect. And then you finally have the flat base rate where you can say everything on my entire website is $5 shipping.
Okay, and that's, you have to set this up for each shipping process, whether it's priority, U.S. Postal Service 1, 2, 3, 4, UPS. Is UPS done by zip code?
Well, it does. All of these go by the actual shipping location, like the actual address, the full address.
Okay.
And then it calculates exactly what that carrier wants to charge you to deliver to that address based on that weight.
Nice.
And then it also allows you to integrate directly with those carriers and print your own postage directly from this interface. And then so you just print out that sticker, put it on the box, leave it on your front doorstep, and they come pick it up.
So these are generic stickers provided by these agencies?
There's a number of choices there. So Craig, if you hit the advanced button, so paper type, change that to something else, like that dynamo. So you see the picture up in the upper right-hand corner. So you have a choice of different printers that you want to print on. So if you wanted to print on a thermal printer like this, you would purchase a roll of blank white labels that are 4 inches by 6 inches. But there's also the opportunity to print on a regular 8.5 by 11 printer that most people have. So Craig, if you want to set that paper type back to the Avery 5126, then you would go and purchase the Avery label 5126. If you walk into Office Depot and ask for that, they'll know what that is. And that'll be a generic label that'll allow you to print 2 shipping labels per sheet of paper.
Okay, the menu on the left side. If we can just go through the icons, information, dashboard, website, store, context, just to differentiate. What's the email package?
This so the email here that's listed is for email campaigns. It would be entirely separate. Many people use either Outlook or Gmail, but this is primarily set up to both execute and track your email campaigns. So the idea is that you may already have a list, particularly if you're updating your current resellers on new information, new products. You could send an email campaign straight out just to them. If you have people that are purchasing the product directly through the website, you can again update those retail customers as well. But the idea, though, is that whether you've met them in person or they've come through your website, either way, you're collecting all of that data, and you'll know whether they're a retail client or a distributor or reseller. The idea, though, is that you would be able to send out those campaigns right from this interface. So again, it eliminates the need to log in to yet another piece of software. Also, the biggest advantage to sending out an email campaign through the system is there's a metric that really nobody's able to capture. That's because the software just doesn't talk together. The different pieces don't speak to each other. In this case, if somebody fills out a form on your website, they're instantly already in your CRM, and you're able to market to them immediately. So you're constantly collecting all of that information. But as you can see right here, just through the whether they've signed up through the website, that would be that sign up box. But the idea though is that also should you send out an email, you'd be able to market to those people, and you can then see, did my campaign work? Not just by clicks. You can't see like clicks and opens. Obviously, you'd be able to capture that same information, but the idea is you'll see exactly how much that email campaign generated, and you'll be able to see, was it worth my time in doing that, or should I try a new one? It could be set up where very often people have these an autoresponder set up so that it'll send you one email instantly, another follow-up 3 days later or a week later, and you can continue going from there. You can send out several emails, or on top of that, you could also send out regular newsletters that can be scheduled in the system as well. But the idea, though, is that you'll be able to track each and every piece. So you could track all of the opens and clicks on your newsletters, but any purchases also would be tracked as well because it's coming right back to the same system.
Okay, so on the emails, if a person does a sign-up box, does that automatically create an email to demo to the user, to me?
So what would happen is you get an alert about it, but the idea though is that you would also that all of that client information that's entered there, depending on how large a form you want, it could be just name and email address, but it could also be name, phone number, email, and then product that they're interested in or whatever it is. All of that information would then get captured and be already located within the CRM. And just so you're aware, these tools that we see along the side here, with the dashboard, the website, store, contacts, and so on, just so you're aware. So the way that I'm set up in the system, I had them set up so that I only have 4 icons on the side. So they've altered my permissions because the idea is I don't want to alter our website. I don't. So, for example, I'm not the one who is in charge of a lot of the marketing, and I'm not the one that's in charge of our website. So those icons are simply not available to me. And you can set those permissions for various employees. It makes it easy. Also, perhaps if you've got some contract employees, you can give them a login, but they only have the tools that they need in order to do their job.
Yeah. So go to Settings.
Okay.
And then Users. And we are one of the few software solutions that does not limit the number of users that you add. We don't charge you any more for you can as many users as you want. So if we click on one of the existing users, let's click on Demo. You can see that from here you can even configure their pay rates and their commission on any sales that they generate. Let's pull Jasmine and then go to Permissions. So from here you can see you have granular, the ability to turn them on and off to every area of the back end of the console. So if you don't want them editing the website, you can turn that off just by clicking that checkbox.
Okay.
And then you also have authorship. So go up there to authorship.
Yep.
This allows you to have guest bloggers on your website, and blogging is one of the best ways to increase your SEO exposure and also to give valuable content to your visitors so they have a reason to visit your website again. Your website can be the most gorgeous website out there, but if it never changes and it always has the same information, there's no reason to come back. So blogging is a real great thing to do, and by having different writers on your team who are writing about different topics around your subject, they can start to get a following. They also can add their Google Plus profile, which means that if someone does a Google search and one of your web pages is a result, that person's face will actually show up on Google in the Google results. And then you also have the area there down below to put a little biography about the person that'll be automatically added to the bottom of any blogs that they post. And then on the History tab, you have the ability to see every single login that every user has made and every thing that they did in the system. So if somebody changes the price on one of your products and you're wondering who did it, you'd be able to find that. Or if somebody edited a web page, you'd be able to track who did that as well.
Email. Well, it's basically just email campaigns. It's not really an email-centric program like a Gmail.
Correct. So the emails that are sent through the system are for the purposes of the campaigns. And Dave, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe you can decide which email address the emails are originating from. Is that correct?
Yes, you can. So when people ask the question, do we handle emails, there's two completely different questions there sometimes. If you wanted to have an email address for each of your employees of your company that is at yourdomain.com, we do offer that, and you can manage that yourself through the system. You also have the ability to forward email addresses back and forth to each other. So you'd have full control over adding and removing email addresses for your company. But also for marketing purposes, if you click on emails over on the left there, and you click on view emails, you can create marketing centric emails. So let's click on that Valentine's Day email. So if you wanted to have a Valentine's Day special, there are a number of email templates to choose from, and you'll be able to monitor how many people opened your emails and clicked on them to make purchases. And at the top in the green box there where it says edit, if we click on edit, you have the ability, if you go down a little bit there, to completely modify this. So if we grab that picture there, we can resize it and make it smaller. We can move it to another location. We can edit the text. We can do whatever you need to do.
So it is very, very similar to a lot of other applications out there, but you see how the rest of the content, you didn't just resize it, now you have a big hole. The content is scaling along with the
really, I think what you can see is the benefit of using a solution like this as opposed to purchasing 20 different software solutions, all with different pricings and different logins and passwords. You have everything in one location, so you can manage your entire company from one interface.
And so with that, the other advantage to that, Mike, is should you have an employee that leaves, there's only one user. There's only one username and password. Right? It just gets eliminated. Meaning, since they're not logging into several pieces of software, you're only concerned with deleting the user from here. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
Did you show him the password manager?
I did not.
And also the task manager would be, I think, hugely beneficial for him.
This is also, just so you're aware, there is an electronic time card system in here as well. So if you are paying people for their time, they can log in and log out. And each time they log out, there are notes required for the tests that were accomplished.
Okay. So so if we go down to passwords.
Okay. So what this does here is just a place where, for example, your domain name is registered, for example, with a registrar like GoDaddy, which seems to be rather popular. So the idea, though, is just you have a place where you can manage all of these things, and it's not sitting on an employee's notepad that you can't seem to find. The idea, though, is that you can have all of this information ready, and you can decide who has access to the passwords.
And that's based on the clearance.
Yes, to store that information. And sometimes those passwords can get quite complex. The other advantage to doing that is that this page is available, again, from any device. So you don't have to download a piece of software and have it available on each and every device. Once you're logged into the system, you could say if you need to do that, if you need to make any changes to any of those other accounts, you can you can have all of that information stored within AllProWebTools.
Do you have any literature to support this? Because I have 2 other people that I would have to be training to use this.
So that's a great question, Mike. And I'll tell you what we have done is we have set up a YouTube channel that actually takes people through each step in the process. Additionally, on many pages throughout the system, you see this help button here. It'll also link to the video that is for that particular process. So if you say, how do I add a contact? How do I work on time cards? How do I do that? As soon as you get to that part in the system, it'll automatically play the video that's associated with that, so you can understand how to work with each tool. Additionally, Mike, you could always call in, and we would have one of our customer service reps would walk you through the process and ensure that when you do go off to do this on your own, that you've at least done it a few times, so that you know how to do it. So you do have 2 options.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not just like, here's some software, good luck. There is full support from us here at the company, or as I said, you could look at the videos that are online, both within the tool itself, or you're certainly welcome to take a look at the YouTube channel, which contains both the support videos as well as some promotional material as well. I know it's been a lot of information thrown at you all at once. How are we doing in terms of being able to take all this in?
Well, I think the ability to go in under demo and then do some processes, your help with the links to the YouTube are going to be good. Some of it is somewhat self-explanatory, but every CRM it should be also known as overwhelming complexity that's maintained with simplicity. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
and
it's going to take a little time. It's just like grabbing a new Android or cell phone or an iPhone or something, saying, okay, how are these processes different than what I've seen in other database systems? Because to me, a CRM is simply a database. It's whether you'd like to call it a database or whether it's a XML or whatever else it is, but it's a storage center. And then it has functionality based on the forms that you create, i.e. this edit user as a form. And then there are reports which provide end user information.
Absolutely. And I guess the advantage that we see in tying these together is just that that all of that information is now shared among each of the tools.
I think it's fantastic. No criticism on sharing it together. Much better. It's the same as Microsoft Office that came out in 1994, and they just took over the market because they integrated all their tools to a certain degree.
Absolutely.